So I'm live Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. I'm back. They fixed something. So here we go. We've got full functionality, hopefully. Thanks for joining me on the MLive morning weather update. And yes, a storm system, quite a storm system for Saturday. I'll show that to you. And now we have to start to figure out where that rain snow line sets up. So we'll get into that together. We'll look at models and we'll look at what's in my head. So here we go. The radars today, I don't know what's going on, but all of the US radar displays that I'm seeing are out. See that right there? So we do have some snow up across the UP. Otherwise, it's fairly dry. Drizzle being reporting in Grand Rapids. That's the only precipitation in the lower part of Michigan right now. All right, so we're at the time frame now where we can look at a comparison of the European versus the U.S. model. The European model, obviously very good. U.S. model gets good as storms get closer, and it approaches the European, and sometimes they come somewhere halfway in between. So, excuse me, let's look at the European model. Okay, so uh, today, really fairly dry. Tonight, the showers will develop, and we'll look at it closer in just a minute. Um, and then this is Thursday afternoon, and it's Thursday in the morning into afternoon is showery in the southern half of the state. Then the cold front drops south, but the cold air doesn't really advance. And I have found over my 30, let's see here now, 34 years now as a professional meteorologist, the set in the spring storm systems for snow, the setup the day before is crucial because we're starting to fight, will there be enough cold air? And I mean, of course, obviously some people are really loving the fact that there might not be enough cold air, but the setup is very important. The day before a storm system approaches in late March, um, do you plunge into the upper 20s behind a cold front in the afternoon? Well, Friday, we're going to make it to 40 degrees again. So you start to wonder, okay, how does a storm approaching that has this counterclockwise flow and a warm push ahead of it, how does it get cold enough to snow on Saturday if Friday it makes it to 40 degrees? So let's look at what the European says. I'm sorry, I just closed it down for you. Let's see. Well, we'll look at it this way then. Okay, so this is a closer look. This is Thursday morning again, and it's all rain on Thursday. No threat of freezing rain or snow. The front drops south. Notice that thin red line. That's the freezing line. So this is Friday morning. Freezing line down to the southern Michigan border. This is Friday afternoon. Freezing line as the day warms jumps up into southern Canada. And then this is Saturday morning, 8 a.m. And this is the European, and it's been pretty consistent at putting the rain snow line somewhere around Cadillac, somewhere maybe around Oscoda. This is Saturday afternoon. If this were to verify as a placement, then you've got heavy snow in Benzie County, Leelanau County, Traverse City, Gaylord, Sheboygan, Mackinac City, and then a quick transition to rain, and you've got rain anywhere from Big Rapids, Clare, southward. And then this is Saturday evening, Saturday night. Hey, good morning, Sherry from Gladwin. Good morning, Monica Hadley. Good morning, Carmelita Tiffany. Good morning, R.D. Winthrop, watching from California. So basically, if we get a heavy snow right now, it looks like it's the northern third of lower Michigan, and it looks like it's Saturday night, and done by sunrise Sunday. And fairly quiet after that. Here's a Monday night maybe light snow attempt, and then 10 days out, the next system looks like it would be even milder than this one. All right, now the U.S. model. Okay, thank you, Mark Ashworth. The U.S. model, and we go into Saturday morning. Okay, right there. So the U.S. model has the rain snow line, 50 miles farther south and east. You just wonder how it could be that cold for snow in Grand Rapids. But same timing, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and then it's done. Now, will I attempt to give you a snowfall total just yet? No. What I will say is that this is a moisture-laden storm like all others, and it will lay down probably a swath of 6 to 8, maybe 9, 10 inches where the heavy snow band is. Right now, I would say that would be, the southern edge of it might be as far south as Traverse City. I tend to feel like these things continue to creep northward over time. Traverse City to Grayling to Oscoda northward, a 6 to 10 inch band somewhere in there. More likely as you go north, Petoskey, Sheboygan, into Mackinac City, and maybe into the eastern part of the UP. And for those of us south of, say, Cadillac to Oscoda, it should be all rain. So I'm not going to give you a total just yet, but you know what we're talking about. And Pamela Todorov, why doesn't the U.S. just remedy the model, make it better like the European? Hold that thought. I'll come back to that. I do want to come back to that. So today we're looking at 50s in the south half, 40s in the north half. Tomorrow we're looking at near 50 degrees. This is Friday. So this is Friday. This is what I'm talking about. The setup before a possible, hey, good morning, Javon Murphy. Setup before a possible snow, and you make it to 46 in Grand Rapids and 42 in Saginaw and 46 in Flint, and in the 40s Ann Arbor and Detroit, even Traverse City 41. Now this is Saturday. Telltale signs of a strong spring storm where you get to 60 in Detroit, 57 in Flint, then 53 in Saginaw, then 44 in Clare, then 34 in Cadillac, and 32 in Traverse City. Sunday, if any snow sticks, and it will, then you got temperatures in the upper 30s in those regions and 50 elsewhere. Monday, a little cooler in the 40s. Tuesday, in the 40s. Wednesday, flirting with 50. Thursday, in the 50s. And next Friday, March 31st, that's starting to look like an April type weather map. What else do I have for you? Okay, one last thing for you, and then I want to go back to that thought on the U.S. model versus the European model. Got a good thought on that. But what you're going to see now is the surface temperature anomaly, so deviation from normal for any one of the days along for the next 10 days out of the European model. And what you'll be seeing is that we have some times when we go warmer than normal. We have some times when we're colder than normal, but the degree of extreme colder than normal is lessening to making it just slightly colder than normal. And unfortunately, I always feel like that's a good thing for our fruit crops and whatnot, is to delay things just a week or so and not have buds out already. I guess cherry blossoms already blooming in Washington, D.C. So this is early next week when we ooze a little bit cooler, and the pocket of colder air is pretty widespread. But the latest data shows that it gives up after a couple of days, so that by the time we're to March 30th, we're slightly warmer than normal by a few degrees and a fairly large pocket. And this is next Friday, March 31st. And then the model, this European, April 2nd, keeping us a little warmer than normal. As we get into April 3rd, it might try to trend. It shows that we could trend toward cooler than normal. And we go out to April 5th, and it says we might be, a couple of degrees Fahrenheit cooler than normal, which is not anything significant. A couple of things to note here. We know that the European has a cold bias out into the future. And we see that because as those colder days 3 or 4 days ago at 10 days out have moved to 7 days out, it's transitioned to showing slightly warmer than normal, which tells me that the cold air is starting to give up its strength. Now, European model versus US model. Why is the European model so good? The US model isn't. Well, first off, I will say that we have models here in the US that they don't have in Europe, and they smoke the European model in the short term. Like you hear me talk about the high resolution rapid refresh. We have a model that runs every hour, and it refreshes every hour, and it gets new data input every hour, and it runs. And we use it for severe weather. We use it for exact timing of the start of a snowstorm in the next day or so. We use it for snowfall totals way better than what the European cranks out. We have another couple of models that cover us 24 to 48 hours very nicely, better in some cases than the European. The European then picks up as being good at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even 8, 9 days out on the timing and the general track of a storm system. Whereas the US model that we would compare at that time, called the GFS, is not really good when you look at how good the European model is. So we take our computer system and we divide it into a lot of different models. And the European model is one model that focuses on the big picture, and they do well. So fortunately, all meteorologists share. We get data from Japan. We can look at the Japanese model. I can even look at the South Korean model. I can look at the German model. But the two big models, the European and the US model, so we don't go into the German model, and the Canadians, they have a model too, and it's pretty good, but you don't need to look at it really that much. So that's the case. Now, how would we make the US model better than the European? We'd probably have to ditch some of these other more important short-term severe weather models and put more processing power into that longer term, which probably wouldn't be worth it. And by the way, when they tweak the US model called the GFS, they do it to solve major weather situations, i.e., a hurricane track 3, 4, 5 days out. And not this year, but the year before that, the US model actually smoked the European model on the track of hurricanes. This year, the European model did better. But remember, the European model is always being tweaked too and improved. So that's the difference. And we can live with it because we have access to all the models. We share all the data. There, how about that? That's some deep meteorology for you. We'll be watching the Saturday storm. It's a solid storm. It's a solid wind maker. It's a solid rain maker. It's a heavy snow band somewhere in northern lower Michigan and the UP. It's probably not a big surprise snowstorm for Grand Rapids or Saginaw or Flint or Ann Arbor or Detroit. We'd have to go a long ways and get a lot of cold air in here on surprise before something could happen like that. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Do you get weather like this anywhere else? No? And hopefully at least some of you dig it. Take care. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa.